क्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः.
Next.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinapati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. So we will go over the rules of the 10th conjugation because it behaves slightly differently, and I'll talk about that difference, and then we'll go over some general rules which you have already studied, but then we'll just be putting them in the form of rules, and then we'll also include what is that? What is badly translated in English as impersonal voice or Bhave Prayoga. Okay, so that is what we will do. And so now let me just open up a document so that you can we can look at it together. And at the end of this, you can have it for yourself to have it at home. Okay, yeah, so that you can refer to it, and then it will be easy to do that. Because I could not share it last time because it had some errors. This is not my document. Somebody else was kind enough to share it with me. So then there were some few things that needed to be corrected. So I could not share it before then. Okay. Yeah. So let me just give me 1 second to share this, and then we will do.
I have them here, Swaminiji. I can.
Please share it in the chat pod so they can also have it. This one which I am putting up, passive voice construction. So some of it we have already gone through it, so we don't need to go it all the way. Let's see, this one we have, yeah, this one we should look at. The 10th conjugation. Do we need to go over these rules? Can you show some signs of life and tell me if we need to go over these rules or no?
No,
The basic
no,
rules.
Swamiji.
No, okay. Thank you for thank you for the feedback. So now, what happens with regard to the 10th conjugation? So the 10th conjugation, this one doesn't have the 10th conjugation. Maybe it's in the other one. Hang on a second. I'll find the correct one and share that first, okay? Yeah.
I have just shared changes to dhatu in passive.
Yeah, and also please share introduction to passive. There's also one more there. Yeah, this one you can open and save, but the other one is the one I'm working off of, okay?
I've
Yeah.
given the introduction to passive construction.
Thank you so much. So see, the main change between let's say if we go further and look at something called, sixth conjugation, fourth conjugation, etc. The main change is in the first, fourth, and sixth conjugations, we have, we don't, for the passive voice, we don't work from the verbal base. You know how, the verbal base, anga, we don't work from that anga. We work straight away from the dhatu. Okay? Does that make sense? Show some signs of life, please. Say yes or no. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the other, like for example, if we, in other kinds of tenses, and whatever we have studied, we see that we have the dhatu like bhu. but we don't add the taha anti straight away there. It undergoes certain vikarnas, and because of the gana it is in, and then it has certain changes. Either it goes through guna or whatever it is, and then after that we have a verbal base called anga, and to the anga we add our pratyayas. Okay, generally that is how we work. But here, the in the 10th conjugation, we don't go straight away with the dhatu. Here you see in the 6th conjugation, wish plus the passive marker yak, the ka goes away because of the rule, and then so wish plus ya plus te, vishyate straight away. It is entered, it is impelled, etc. So same thing if we do with a 4th conjugation, push plus ya plus te, man plus ya plus te, it is thought of and it is nourished. Like this we have straight away from the dhatu itself, not from the verbal anga, the verbal base, or what is called in Sanskritam as anga. Now the 10th conjugation, the guna change is retained. The guna change of the medial and the or the penultimate vowel is retained, and then the is not lengthened, like the becomes and all these things. That doesn't happen. Everything else being the same, the ya is added instead of the I. So for example, chur, what happens to chur?
Sure.
Chor, very good. Chor, and then we have the gana vikarnam I, and then it becomes chorai, and plus a plus ti or te, whatever it is. And so here that I is not added. The chur becomes chor, that much is there. And then what do we do to that? We add ya, the passive marker, and then chor plus ya plus te, chor yate. And then we can take something here, ghush, to announce, to proclaim. Ghush plus ya plus te. What happens to ghush? It incurs guna by this rule, which exempts the exempts the 10th conjugation from behaving like the other conjugation. So it retains the guna. So then ghush it becomes what? Ghosh, and then plus ya. This is wrong actually. It should not have halantyam here. So ghush plus ya plus te, ghoshyate. So the ghush becomes ghosh, ghosh plus ya plus te, ghoshyate. And then we have kshal, to wash, and then we have a rule where the is lengthened for some roots in the 10th conjugation. Kshal, it's not kshalayati, it's kshalayati. He or she washes. But the is not, the medial is not lengthened in case of the, what is it, in case of the passive, exactly. And so kshalyate, it is washed. It is washed. Kshalyate. Same thing, bhaksh, to eat, bhakshyate. Peed, to afflict, peedyate. Okay. Yeah, this, do we need to go over this? The agent is in the 3rd case, the object is in the 1st case, and the verb agrees in person and number with whatever is in the 1st case. Okay. So the object of the action is in the 1st case, so the verb agrees with the object and not so much with the subject. And so here's a nice little, what's its name, contrast here. In the active voice, the karta is in the 1st case, and then the karma will be in the 2nd case. In the passive voice, the karta is in the 3rd case, the karma is in the first case, and the verb has to agree with karma. All right. So let us do some exercises here. Ramaha ashramam pashyati. What did I say?
Ram sees the ashram.
Rama sees the ashram, okay. And then let's convert that into passive voice.
The ashram is seen by Rama, so
Very
Rame.
nice. Yeah. How let's put that in Sanskritam.
Ramena.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ramena.
Ramena. Very
Ramena.
good. Very good.
Pashyat.
Pash becomes drish.
Drishyati. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Drishyati. Ashra.
Drishyati, no. It will be always Atmanepada endings. Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Because there is
Drishyati.
no Parasmaipada endings for the Karmani Prayoga at all. Okay. Yeah. Always Atmanepada.
Ramam drishyate.
No, Ramena, you were correct the first time.
Yeah, Ramena drishyate.
Ramena Dishyate.
Ashramam. Yeah.
So
Ashram.
let's go back. What is seen by Rama, please?
Ashramana. Rama says. The ashramam. So Ramena ashramam drishyate. Right?
Ashramam?
Drishyate.
No, I'm not worried about the Drishyate. Ashramam?
Ashramaha. No.
Ashram. Huh?
Sorry. Object. Yeah, ashramam. Ashramam.
No, it's not. See, it is still the object. You are correct. It is absolutely the object. But look at this little table here, Tanu. Look at the table here. Yeah. So what is in active voice? What happens? The agent is in the first case and the object is in the second case. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the passive voice, you rightly said Ramena, the karta, the agent is in the third case. And what about the karma?
First case. So ashramaha. Okay.
Very good. Ashramaha drishyate. Okay.
Thank you,
So
Swami.
then, next one, balaha gajan.
I have a question, Swamiji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then ashrama is a masculine. I thought it was a neuter, in which case it would be ashramam.
Yeah, if it is neuter, it will be ashramam, but I don't think it is neuter. Ashramaha. I think it's masculine. Okay. Yeah, supposing if we had said Ramena, let's say Rama sees the fruit. If we had said Ramaha phalam pashyati Ramena phalam drishyate, then yes. Okay. All right. Next one. Balaha gajan pushyati. What are we saying here? Come on, all you have to do is read. Okay. That also nobody is doing.
The boy feeds the elephants.
Abba, finally. Okay, good. Now, what do we need to do with this?
Elephant is fed by the boy.
Fantastic. Okay, somebody else translate it.
Gajaha. Gajaha.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, please translate the whole thing.
Balena gajaha pushyante. Pushyante.
Balena gajaha pushyante. Very good. Because the verb is agreeing with that which is in the first case. So what is in the first case in the sentence? Balena gajaha?
Gajaha.
Gajaha. Wonderful. Next one.
I have another question, Swaminiji.
Yes, go ahead.
So can we put the order Gajaha Balena Pushyante?
Go for it. Go to town. No problem.
Okay.
Have fun. Yeah. No problem. So,
Swaminiji, ashrama can be pullingam and napumsakalingam. It can be
oh,
either
okay. It can be
ashramaha
either.
or ashrama.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
So, yes, we could have said ashramam also, and it would have been correct. So, ashramaha also correct. So, shishyaha vedan bodhati. Purposely, I have hid the translation. Okay. So that little bit of what should I say? Class work can be done here. Shishyaha. Who wants to translate Shishyaha?
Student.
Students.
Okay. Yeah, students. Who said students? See me after class. Students. Who said?
Student.
Student. Okay.
Student.
Shishyaha.
Student.
Okay. Yeah.
Singular.
So bodhati.
Is Shishyaha not a disciple?
Yeah. Let us say disciple. So disciple. Bodhati. Eats, right? Am I correct?
Knows. Knows.
Knows.
Yeah. So what does the disciple know?
The Vedas.
Veda. Vedas.
Vedas. Yeah. So the disciple knows the Vedas. How would you like to make it into passive voice?
Vedaha Shishyaha
Shishyena.
Shishyena
Shishyena.
Bodhante.
No. Buddh.
Bodhyate.
Bodhyante.
Let's
Bodhyante.
I'm going to do something here and just go back because I think it might help. Buddh is which conjugation?
First conjugation.
Right? Yeah. So
Oh,
here. Buddh
Budhyante.
to know. Buddh plus ya plus te, what do you get?
Budhyate.
So why? There are no guna. There is no guna there.
Okay.
Okay? Because the passive marker ya, that's why it's called yak. It's a kith. It's a, what's that? It's a, ka is the it letter. And whenever the ka it letter comes, it negates the possibility for guna. So no guna here. Okay? 10th conjugation exception notwithstanding, there is no guna here. And so let's go back to the sentence here. All right. So Shishyaha Vedan Bodhati. Convert Bodhati.
Budhyate.
Budhyante.
Budhyante. Sorry. Budhyante.
Okay. Vedaha Shishyena Budhyante. Okay. The Vedas are known by the student. Any question?
Yeah, Swaminiji, sorry. The Shishyena, it became na there. Huh? Is that because of there is no ra there?
But
Why
there
should
is sha.
there be a ra?
No, he's saying because of the no.
The shakara is there, no?
Oh, Shakar. Okay.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
Vedas are known by the students. Yeah. Acharyah margau upadishati. What is the root verb here?
Dish. No?
Dish.
This
Dish.
drish to show. Upadish to teach. Okay. Yeah. So what is who is teaching?
Acharyena.
Acharya.
Acharyena.
Acharya means pickle, right?
Teacher.
Teacher.
Teacher. All right. And then, so what is the teacher doing? Teacher is teaching, all right. Teacher
Showing the
teaches.
way.
How many ways? One way?
Two ways.
You
Two
will.
ways. Yeah. So Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, let us say. Margau Upadishati. Then what shall we do with this? First, let us translate.
Acharyena
No, translate in English first. This one. The
teacher
preceptor,
shows the ways.
the preceptor shows or teaches, yeah,
Two direction. Two
two
directions.
paths. Two
Two
paths.
paths.
Yeah. The teacher teaches two paths. And then what shall we do with this?
Acharyena margai
No.
marge
Margau.
Hmm.
margau upadrishyatah.
Upadishya taha. No.
Ite.
Always remember Atmanepada endings.
Oh,
Yeah. What is the dual Atmanepada ending for the Tritiya Purusha? So the first, actually Prathama Purusha for the in Sanskrit. Chant Dishyate. Chant that Dishyate. What comes next? Next.
Upadishyete.
Margau Acharyena Upadishyete. Okay. Next one. Very easy. Please read it.
Purusha gramam gacchataha.
What is it saying?
Purusha, two people, two persons,
Yeah.
they go to the
village.
village.
Okay. Translate it properly.
Two people go to the village.
Purushebhyaha
Two people go to the village. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
Gramaha
The village is gone to by two people, by two persons, right?
Yes.
Okay.
gramaha purushabhyam
Yeah.
Shabhyam.
Yes. Two.
yeah,
By
two
two.
Okay.
purushabhyam gachyete
No. Gamyate. Because
gamyate
Ramaha Purushabhyam Gamyate. Okay.
Swamini, do you have a question? Is gum a karmika dhatu?
In a sense, yes, it is. Although it is frequently, what is in a sense, it would be akarmaka. Because even though it says going to something, it's always there, gramam, gachati, etc. But when you ask, you go what? There is nothing much to say about that.
So that I guess I'm trying to figure out if that would be in Bhave Prayoga.
In a sense, but it is, I don't know how to explain it.
Like reaching a
because-
place. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because it is. Let's ask Vidya ji. If you haven't asked her already?
No, haven't asked.
Yeah.
We will just take it as Sakarmaka Dhatuhu.
Yeah.
It is,
Here it is in a sakarmaka usage, but it is
yes.
frequently also akarmaka, especially when the gam dhatu is used in the sense of, do you get it? Did you get it or something like that? If that
So-
makes sense. Because it is, strictly speaking, it would be, akarmaka because it's not really, but it's frequently the destination is given And so when the destination is given, we take it as sakarmaka.
So normally we say Ramaha kutra gacchati. That
Yeah.
kutra generally we take the answer to be saptami vibhakti. But because it is dvitiya, you can also say Ramaha kim gacchati, Ramaha vidyalayam gacchati.
Vidyalayam gacchati or gramam gacchati, whatever. Something, yeah. So
whether it is a transitive verb or intransitive, I don't know, but it certainly takes a karma padam. So by virtue of taking by virtue of taking a karma padam, it is a sakarmaka.
Yes, I read somewhere that it is looked at by some scholars as akarmaka dhatu. In fact, I just read it today, and it's funny that Chris asked the question because about gam dhatu I read it today. Strictly speaking, it is akarmaka. In one of the vartikas to one of the I think in Laghu Kaumudi or something like that, I was reading today and I thought, oh, this is very interesting that gam dhatu is strictly speaking akarmaka but frequently looked at as sakarmaka. So
Thank you, Swaminiji. I'm trying to gain clarity on that. I think I've had a lot of
interesting.
errors in that
No,
area.
it's interesting you asked the question when I say, I was not looking for gum at all, but I accidentally came upon it today when I was looking at something else for the previous class, for the Taittiriya class. So next one, Janaha.
Swamiji, one clarification. When we are using Atmani Pade, we must always use Atmani Pada. We must always use gum.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it goes back to from the dhatu we are taking it.
Okay. So it doesn't matter, no, sakarmak and akarman.
No, this is like a specific question with regard to the dhatu. So that doesn't have to do with gach gum. Gach and gum, that doesn't have anything to do with that. This is a specific question because if you say he goes, she goes, literally, I mean, goes what? It's just like he sits or he stands. Stands what? So strictly speaking, it is akarmaka. I read somewhere, I forgot where it was because I was not really looking for it. I didn't make a note of it or something. And then it said because the verb, this gam dhatu is frequently used with an object because it is used in the sense of destination, and the destination is given, so it's used with an object, so it is considered to be, in that sense, it is considered to be sakarmaka. Okay.
Thank you so much.
That doesn't have anything to do with gach and gam.
Okay.
So this is an easy one. Okay. Janaha chandram pashyanti.
So
People see the moon.
People see the moon. Very nice.
People see the moon.
Seen by the people.
Moon is seen by people.
Moon is seen by people.
Yeah. Okay. Who would like to put it?
Chandraha drishyante.
No. Janaihi.
Janaihi.
Janaihi chandraha drishyante.
Drishyate.
Drishyate.
How many moons are there?
One moon. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we lived on a planet, like if we lived on Jupiter, we can say Drishyante because it has four moons. But here, you see, remember always, everybody is getting this very nicely. The first, the karta is being turned into third case very easily by everybody. The confusion seems to be with the karma, the object, okay? And the confusion specifically is connected with the object and the agreement with the verb. All right. So here, I mean, again, let's reiterate this. In the active voice, the verb agrees with what? The subject or the object?
Subject.
Object. No,
The
with
verb
whatever
agrees
the case. whatever it is.
Whatever is the subject.
In the active voice. Active voice. Let us look at the active voice. In the simple, very easy sentence, Janaha Chandram, Pashyanti. So the verb is is agreeing with what?
Subject.
Janaha.
The subject.
Is Janaha the subject or the object?
Janaha subject.
So
The
in
active
the
voice is the subject.
the verb agrees in gender, not gender, case and number with the
Subject.
Subject.
Yes, with the karta. All right. And in the passive, the verb agrees with the karma, not with the karta. Because the karta goes into third case. Karta is still karta. Because the seeing is still, the seeing is not done by the moon in the passive voice. The seeing is still done by the people, right? Yeah.
But Somani one doubt. In the passive voice, the object goes into the first case. That is subject it will become. So anyway,
It won't
the
become
verb will,
subject. That's exactly my point.
so
it will not
anyway
become the
agree.
subject.
Why Somani Chandram becomes Chandraha. So
Yes,
it
but it is
becomes
still not the subject of the sentence. It's
of the
still an
sentence.
That
But
is, that is important because it's still an object. You see, because, see, if it became the subject, then it should be like this. People see the moon, moon sees the people. But that's not, the moon is not seeing anything. The moon is still being seen, right? The moon is still the object of the sight of the people. So nothing has changed. The subject is still subject, object is still object, but the subject has gone into third case and object has gone into first case. So we have to somehow delink the orientation that whatever is in the first case, is the subject. So it is, even though it is subject sthaniya, it is still karma of the sentence.
Then maybe Somani can we say that whatever is in the first case, the verb will agree with that?
Yes, and that's
Whichever
what we
way.
said here. Look here. Verb agrees with whatever is in the first case.
Yes.
Yeah. And you will get this document to take home. Okay. Yeah, you already have it. So then, yeah, don't open it now, even if you have it, okay? Because we want to get through these quizzes. Ramasya putraha vedau pathati. It is getting a little more interesting now.
Complicated.
I'd rather use the word interesting. Ramasya putraha vedau pathati.
The son of Rama reads Veda.
Very good. Yeah. Studies the Veda. The Rama's son studies the Veda. Now in English, thank you. Studies two Vedas, not just the Vedas. In English, we can say Vedas, but actually here it is specific. How many Vedas? Two Vedas. He is on his way to becoming a Dvivedi. All right. Yeah. Dvivedi means two Vedas. The one who studies or has studied two Vedas. So Rama's son studies two Vedas. Do it in English, please, now.
Two Vedas are studied by Rama's son.
By?
Rama's son.
Rama's son or Rama's son. Yeah, Rama's son or son of Rama. Okay. So then let us see. Okay, forget. You can put Ramasya in brackets for now. Let us not configure this into the sentence for now. Let us just say Putraha Vedau Pathati. Take it like that so that it will look very easy, and then we can see what to do with Ramasya, if anything.
Putrena Vedam Pathate.
Putrena.
Vedav.
Vedam.
No, Vedav.
Ved. Oh.
We have to get the dual, right? Just
Vedav.
because it's in passive, the number cannot, yeah. So let's see.
Veda. Ved. Ramaha
Chant,
Ramo. Vedav.
chant, yeah, chant Ramaha.
Vedav.
Ramaha Ramo Rama. Ramaha Ramo Rama. Ramam Ramo
Vedav.
Rama.
Yeah.
Vedav.
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 Yeah.
Vedav.
Yeah. Putrena Vedav, what?
Patate.
Putrena.
Patyete.
Patyete.
Pathyete. Why pathyete? Because
Dual.
Dual.
Two
and what
Vedas.
two sons are studying?
Ramasya Putrena.
Yeah.
Ramasya.
Two Vedas are being studied. So Ramasya Putrena, Ramasya no change. It's just qualifying this, whose son it is. So Ramasya Putrena Dvau Vedau Pathyete. See how the verb is agreeing with the object. And here you can't say whatever is in the first case because the first case and the second case are looking identical, which is why this sentence has been given. Okay? Okay, next one. Guruhu Shishyan Moksham Nayati.
Guru leads the students to moksha.
Very good. Translate first, in English itself into passive.
Students are led by Guru to moksha.
By the Guru towards moksha. Okay?
Guruna.
Guruna.
Guruna Shishyaha.
Guruna Shishyaha.
Moksha
Niyante. Niyante.
Niyante.
No, is a te, is Atmanipadi. So Niyante.
Then what happens to moksha?
Remains the same.
Means the same. Very good.
How
Shishyaha
many- Oh, sorry, go
Guruna
ahead.
Moksham Niyante. Yes, what were you saying?
I wanted to ask, is that I can't remember the Sanskrit term, but double accusative, is that a verb that takes a double accusative?
It's a double accusative.
You remember that
Moksham.
term we used last week? It was a official Sanskrit term. That's more of an English term. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Vidyaji?
Subjective function.
Dvikarmaka dhatu.
Dvikarmaka dhatu.
That's a Dvikarmaka?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it looks like that to me.
If it wasn't, it would be
Shishya and moksha.
right?
Yeah, because it is, the Shishya and Moksha.
Thank you.
I think that's the end of it. Wonderful. So let us look at one more thing in the time that we have. Let me stop sharing this. Some more, some more few things we will go over. Where is that?
Are we doing Bhave Prayoga also, Swamini ji?
I think we may have to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Because there are some more things to just go over. Things always in Sanskritam class, as you as you yourself have seen, things take longer than, it always reminds me of, what is that thing? They have a funny sentence on the side mirrors of the car. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. And so here, things in Sanskritam class takes longer than what we think it will. So Bhave I'll do tomorrow. Okay, so let me share this here. Yeah, please mute yourself, whoever, there's some background noise so that everybody can hear. So let us look at some changes, some general changes in the passive voice. This is just a revision. I'm sure you have already done it. So first one is that the final vowel, a short E or short U, is lengthened. The short E or short U becomes long in the passive stem. G, to conquer, but the passive, what does it become? G plus ya plus te, jiyate. Deshaha nripena jiyate. The country is conquered by the emperor, king. Ajiyata, it was conquered. Okay. Then Dhru, that was a E, short E, which becomes long. Another one, Dhru, to flow. Dhru plus Dhru becomes Dhru, Dhruyate. Yeah, flow or attacked, it says. I don't know, maybe it has that meaning also. Then another one, Shru, this we haven't studied because it's the fifth conjugation. That also gets lengthened, Shruyate. Shruyate. Shruyatam. Shruyatam iti amantriya. It says in the Ramayana. That is there. That expression is there. Shruyatam, may it be heard. Then this is this we encounter a lot of this here in the everyday sentences. Sru, to move. So all these short r sentences, hr, sru, mr, all these things, it changes into re in the passive. Sru, to move. Then it becomes Sri plus ya plus te. Sriyate. It is moved. Like what? It is moved by, it is moved, something like that. So we can, say it is moved.
Sarpena sriyate.
I was exactly thinking that. Sarpena sriyate. And then hru, to carry away, harati, hru, and it becomes hriyate.
I'm sorry, a small question, Swamiji. Is that with any r ending dhatu or just that sra?
No, any r ending sr, hr, mr, and all of them.
Thank you.
Final short r of the dhatu is changed into ri. Okay. Then sr becomes sriyate, hr, hriyate, and then what else, I wanted to give an example with hriyate, like
Ravanaha. Ravanena Sita.
Yes. Sita hriyate. Yeah. But there is an exception here to this rule. What is the exception? If the r is preceded by a conjunct consonant, it entertains guna. It engages in a guna. So the r becomes ar. For example, even though all of them behave like this, r, and one more here, mr, to die, mriyate. But smr, because it's a conjunct consonants before that mr, Okay, let's write this here. Mru. If it was just mru, if it was just mru, then this rule would apply. Mriyate. It would become it would follow this same rule, but the mr happens to be preceded by a conjunct consonant. So it is not just mr, it is smr. Since it is smr, then the rule is that it takes a guna. Smr smarati, so then smaryate. Okay? Got it?
Yes.
Then I erase this. Then then some changes are there with a long r. R is changed into ear, like tr, to cross. Tarati, tarati shokam atmavit. But tiryate. Okay? Str, to spread. Stiryate. But if the r is preceded by a labial, like pakara, it doesn't become piryate, it becomes puryate, it becomes ur. Like pr, to fill up, puryate, it is filled. Okay? And then, so this is these are some rules in all in one place. Some are ending dhatus and the root gai change their final vowel into e in the passive construction. And there are certain a ending dhatus, not all of them. Da, dha, pa, ma, stha, and ha. Like, for example, da, to give. The active form is yachati, he, she, it gives. And the passive form is, it becomes e. The a becomes e. And so here, diyate. Diyate, it is given. Dha, which we haven't studied, to place, to hold, to grant, etc. Dadhati, but then in the passive, dhiyate. Pa, which we have studied, to drink, and then active voice, pibati, an irregular form, as Antoine would say, but then in the passive it is piyate, it is drunk. Ma, a second conjugation which we haven't studied, and active form is maati, measures, but then miyate, it is measured. Stha, which we have studied, and tishtati, but here it becomes sthiyate. And it is it is the passive or bhave, whichever we want to say, because some of them are akarmaka here, and that is pointed out. This being an intransitive verb, though it follows the passive construction, it is separately considered as bhave, for which there is no English equivalent. Ha, to abandon, which we haven't studied this particular root, but it's good to look at them and see how they all, regardless of the conjugation, behave in the same way. The active form is not jihati, jahati. Here also it's wrong, jahati. So jahati, and then hiyate. And this is this is used often in the Bhagavad Gita also. We find this hiyate comes. Kathopanishad also it comes. Lokaha hiyante. All the lokas are lost for the person who doesn't give dhanam, etc. It is there. And then gai, this was one more exception, to sing, gayati, active voice, and then you know, gayati, giyate. Here also it's wrong. It is not jai, it is gai. Here there's a mistake. So giyate, yeah, giyate, it is sung. Okay. Yeah. So these we can do for homework. Okay. Lovely flowers should be given to the good mother. These a few sentences. These 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 sentences we can incorporate in the homework. And yeah, this is also important, because otherwise we won't recognize the passive voice even when it is staring at us in the face. So the semi-vowels ya and va, change to e and u. This is a process called samprasarana. Samprasarana is there. Igyanaha samprasaranam, there is a sutra. So then what happens? Yaj becomes ijyate, yajati, but ijyate. Vad becomes vadati, but udyate. Vah becomes uhyate, vahati, but uhyate. Like that. Few examples like that. That is also done. And we have, let's see. Let me stop sharing this. Bhave, I don't think we can do justice to it in such a short time, but maybe we can just look at it a little bit. Okay. Just let's look at it, and tomorrow we can continue with this a little more. Let me share this, and then we'll go from there. Can you see?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yeah, so there is another form of passive construction called passive impersonal, Bhave Prayoga, which is used in Sanskrit for intransitive verbs. Okay, it's just for intransitive verbs. Remember, the first time when we got into this topic, I said that the Bhave Prayoga is only for intransitive verbs. We had covered that. And so, in English and Sanskrit, we have two types. Transitive, that which take a direct object, called sakarmaka dhatu in Sanskritam. So, karmana saha vartate, sakarmaka, the recipient of the action of the verb, answering the question, to whom what is the action done. Ramaha, for example, Ramaha Suryam Namati. Nam, to salute, to worship, is a transitive verb because it has an object. And what is the object in this sentence? Ramaha Suryam Namati?
Suryam.
Surya. Obviously, Surya is the object. So since the Nam Dhatu takes the object Surya, so it is definitely a transitive verb. And then in the passive, we would say Ramena Suryaha Namyate. Okay, this would be the passive. But then this is for the Sakarmaka. We can't have Bhave Prayoga with Sakarmaka Dhatu. So we are only looking at intransitive verbs. So in English, intransitive verbs do not have a direct object and are descriptively named Akarmaka Dhatus, a Dhatu that does not have an object. In Sanskrit, some verbs that are intransitive are considered intransitive in Sanskrit also. So what constitutes a akarmaka dhatu? There is no answer to the question what. When you query the verb, we talked a lot about querying the verb. So Rama stands. Stands what? There is nothing there. So there can be an answer to how or where the action is done. The sentence is complete without answering any further questions about the action. There is no passive expression of the action in English. So, vrikshaha rohati. What does that mean?
Tree grows.
Tree grows.
Tree grows. So, in English, as this note, handout says, in English there is no equivalent of this at all. You can't make it into passive voice at all. Like you cannot say, the growing is done by the tree. It sounds funny. We don't really have that. We don't have that because it cannot be changed like that. In Sanskritam, we have it because it is Bhave. It is an example of a Bhave Prayoga. It is passive and it is what is called is here as impersonal. There is Bhave Prayoga. And so here, Vrikshena Ruhyate. Now, the interesting thing is, if supposing the tree was not just one tree, but it was two trees, then what would happen?
Vrikshau.
Vrikshau. See, that's the thing. Yeah, we won't know what to do because there is no object. The verb has to agree with the object in passive voice. Here, there is no object. And so that's why it is bhave, intransitive verb. And so therefore, it will always be in the singular. It will always be in the singular. What?
Below, you are circling the Kartari Prayoga. Vrikshaha rohati.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that. Yeah, that's right. So bhave is thank you. So vrikshena ruhyate. Vrikshena ruhyate. Again, notice that the verb ruh does not take guna. Immediately takes the marker ya and then atmanepada termination. The growing is done by the tree. It is grown by the tree like that. So it will always be in the third person singular. Alas, if the whole language was Bhave Prayoga, we wouldn't have to do the 3x3 table at all. We would just always just only one. So we just need to know one particular way the verb goes. Alas, it's not all like that. And so like for example, even if two trees were growing, we would still say Vrikshabhyam Ruhyate. Or if many trees were growing, more than two trees were growing, Vrikshaihi Ruhyate. Okay? Yeah.
Swamini ji.
Yes.
To comment on what you said just now, if it had been only Bhave Prayoga, then maybe Atmajnanam would also be a little easier.
Absolutely, because as we are seeing in the Taittiriya Upanishad.
That is what is leading me to say that.
Yes. On that delightful note, we can stop for today and then we'll continue with this tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Take care. All the
Thank
best.
you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Om.
Thank you, Swami.